I'm standing, for the general election, I'm standing in the Birmingham Northfield constituency, which is where I live and where I grew up, and I'm also standing in the local elections in the Weoley Castle ward, or Weoley ward, which is within the Northfield constituency as well. I think in terms of getting involved, it was just like, it sounds a bit weird, but my mum would always be watching the news in the morning, and obviously they cover the politics news on that. And I just end up asking questions about random things, and then eventually the thing that made me actually properly get interested that I remember was when Tony Blair tried to introduce 90-day detention without trial, and I just remember turning to my mum and kind of going, "That's daft, isn't it?" And she just nodded at me and said, yes it is. And so I just kind of started following it on from there. And when I started looking into it, I was just kind of reading up on the parties, looking at what they were doing, what they stood for. I just kind of looked at the Lib Dems and went, these are the only ones that I can actually say I agree with for the most part. So they were the ones that were interested in protecting civil liberties. They were the ones that were actually interested in getting things done rather than just petty point scoring or what appeared to me to be petty point scoring a lot of the time. So I think I joined when I was 16. And yeah, I've never really looked back. So. I think in terms of the council, it boils down to just making sure that the local residents have actually got a voice. You'll often find that councils tend to steamroller over a lot of the views of regular people and the constituents, just because it's a bit inconvenient for them to be asked about things. So I think what I would massively try and do is try and make sure that everyone's aware of what actually is going on, and that they've got somebody that they know is actually going to stand up for them and not just kowtow to whoever their party leadership is. I think it's basically some youth and vigour and some an actual fire in the belly, to be honest. A lot of councillors are quite old, and I think they can be a bit set in their ways and also a bit kind of pessimistic about what changes can actually be made at a local level, just because they've been there, they've done that, and they've seen so many things fail. And I think some youth can actually be used to actually pick things up and actually give people a proper voice, rather than just a half-hearted one in a lot of instances. Basically, it boils down to that I genuinely love this city, and I get really annoyed every time I look at the news and you see so much stuff about, oh, Manchester's getting this, London's getting this, Leeds are getting a good deal now, all that kind of stuff. And I want Birmingham to have the same opportunities and the same ability to actually build itself up and build a better future for its kids and for its population as a whole. And yeah, that's the general reason for it. I just want to make sure that we're getting a fair deal. I'm standing against 4 other candidates. There's a UKIP gentleman called Keith Rowe, a Green lady called Anna Masters. There's Rachel Maclean, who's the Conservative candidate, and there's the incumbent MP, Richard Burden. And I think I'd be the best choice out of them, again, because there is a massive age difference between all of us. I think they've got 20 years minimum on me. But I think that my youth is actually something that could massively be an advantage, because Birmingham as a city is incredibly young, and if you've got young people in Parliament representing places, you're going to get much more of a fight. You're going to get much more return on what's going on, just because there's going to be more fire in the belly and more kind of energy and vigour going into things, rather than just stand the same old. Well, obviously, if you make a promise, you should keep it. That is the end of it, and we've apologised for not being able to do that. Hell, Nick Clegg even did it as a party political broadcast, which got auto-tuned and became a viral hit online, and I think it even made it into the top 40 or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, I mean, we've admitted we got that wrong, and we accept that we've got a lot of work to do to regain people's trust. But I genuinely do think we are the best party, and we're the only party that actually is genuinely looking out for young people. Out of the Conservatives and Labour, both of them have decided that they're absolutely fine with cutting young people's benefits. Just because they know that young people don't vote, whilst we've gone out of our way to say that if we are cutting benefits, we're cutting benefits of wealthy pensioners, such as like free bus passes and free TV licences, rather than taking the easy route of slamming young people's benefits.